Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis, and for a quick update for week 2, I wanted to give you guys a piece of advice with some new information that I've got for your pirate crew upgrades. Now, do your 2 seasonal challenges that we've got this week are going to be pretty easy, honestly, some of the easiest ones I've seen. Return the second relic. Basically, it takes like do an expedition, do the pirate hideout, and you've got a relic, and then kill Fallen. Not really difficult to do. And then complete 3 expeditions, and make sure you throw 25 of the little treasure engrams into the hauler over the course of 3 expeditions. You're going to see Fallen on the expeditions, whether it's on Europa or whether it's on Cosmodrome, which is the new location this week they've added in the rotation. Either way, these are pretty easy. You get 1 repute for both of them. So once you're done with that, you'll come back into your pirate crew and you're going to have the option to upgrade. Now again, to get to the 3rd column, you need to put 1 more back here. Now I learned a couple things. Glimmer, again, I still don't care. I don't need that much Glimmer. I can go buy it if I want to. If you're hurting for Glimmer, maybe, but I promise you it's not worth it. I learned the armor treasure map is kind of garbage. It's going to give you a 1350 piece of armor. It's not going to be high stats generally. Not anything that's really worth your time. So the fact that you can focus armor, pick a certain piece of armor is great. This armor seems to be garbage. Not really worth your extra currencies when you're doing a treasure map. Extra coordinates when you defeat enemies just does not seem worth it for me. If I really need coordinates, I can go run a couple strikes. I can run a wellspring if I really want to. It's not that hard to get it, and then killing sometimes. Treasure coordinates is usually not where I run out. It's usually going to be the map coordinates, or the map fragments that I need from Catch Crash, that are going to be a little more like, you need to go run this one specific thing. When it comes to the treasure coordinates, I'm just not hurting for those generally, so I'm not picking this one. Now, the reason I picked this one is twofold. One, it unlocks a random bonus reward when you emote with your crew at the end of an expedition. There is a triumph if you're going for those. Again, not everybody does, but if you're going for those, you need to do this 150 times. Between Catch Crash and Expedition, you got a while to work on it, but that's a lot. So you need to probably get cracking on this pretty early. The other thing it does is the random bonus, for 1, better than Glimmer, 2, better than a crappy piece of armor, and then 3, a little better than coordinates because it can be, I've heard enhancement core drop, I've heard random world drop weapon, and if just all you have to do is emote at the end and you get a chance at a world drop weapon extra, what's that going to do? Oh, it's a bad weapon? Break it down, you get some legendary cores. Maybe it's, a random world drop weapon that you're working on trying to get a god roll on. Basically, this is just your most beneficial piece because you're going to get something useful as opposed to a few treasure coordinates when you kill enemies. And again, unless you're just raining in these, I doubt it's worth it. I don't care about Glimmer and the armor's garbage. So I went with Hire the Skiff Blades for my 3rd unlock. For my 4th one, I think I may have said to go for focused weapon spoils, but actually after thinking and kind of seeing how this works, I'm shifting to the weapon treasure map. Now, why would I do that? Grants the ability to decrypt Umbral Engrams into Season of Plunder weapons once they've been added to your collections. That's these right here. I have to get the focus weapon spoil skill. The problem is, Plundered Umbral Energy is really slow to get right now, so it's going to cost me 12 Umbral Energy for 1 roll. Most of the time, you're trying to buy these weapons to try and get the weapon pattern, to try and get the red outline deep sight so you can unlock and craft one and make your god roll. The odds of you getting a god roll generally are no better here in a specific focus than it is in the random version. And this early on in the season, you're much better off spending your Plundered Umbral Energy at half the cost to get a weapon, if that's all you're going for, like you don't care about armor and you're going for weapons. It's only 6 to get a weapon instead of 12. And I'm going to probably guess most everybody still needs plenty of weapon frames and weapon rolls for all of these weapons. So you're much better off, in my opinion, saving the focus spoils for later when we have a chance to get more Umbral Energy, when we have a chance to increase how much Umbral Energy you get, and also double the Plundered Umbral Energy from treasure maps when you're really deep into it. That's fine. I think that is probably around the time when the focused weapon spoils is going to be more beneficial. Now, increase the chance of earning seasonal plundered gear from the chest at the end of expedition. I run a lot of expeditions. This is kind of appealing, but honestly, I'm going to wait probably another week to get this one because right now what I want to do is unlock the weapon treasure map. Now, do I care that the weapon treasure maps drop the weapon at 1350? No, I really don't, because most of the stuff we're running is not that high level. And if you need to go level up a weapon, you can do it anywhere. Like if you get a deep sight weapon, you're like, oh, it's only 1350. Oh no. You can go run random strikes, you can go run patrols, you can do Suro Chi, wherever you want to get your deep sight knocked out real quick and then get yourself, progress on the pattern. Doesn't matter if it's 1350, but it's a weapon. If I get a piece of armor that's 1350, that's not really going to help me much, because then you have to infuse it. And again, also the armor treasure maps are crappy stats. Weapons don't have stats, they just have perks. So it doesn't matter if they're high or low, getting a perk every time you do a treasure map, this is how you're going to start to see a lot more weapons coming your way. Now, I will say they are a little bit more expensive. Your basic treasure map is 5 and 50. Your weapon treasure map, still going to give you your Umbral Energy, so you can still work on the focusing into weapons too, but every time you do it, you get a weapon. So think about that. To just even take an Umbral Engram and try and get any of the Plunder weapons, it takes 2 runs. But in those 2 runs, now you've also got 2 weapons. So yes, it costs a little more map fragments, a little more treasure coordinates, but I would much rather make sure every time I run one of these, I'm guaranteed a weapon. Every single time, getting either a chance at a god roll, which, you know, maybe I can hold on to and use until I unlock the weapon pattern, or making more progress on the weapon frames. Every time you run it, I would much rather spend a little bit more currency here and make my run guarantee a weapon than here and just be, could be armor, could be weapons, who knows. Doesn't seem to always be that much. But again, guaranteeing myself a weapon, worth the extra currency in my opinion. So that's why I'm recommending to you guys to change what you're focusing on and go for the weapon treasure map this week. Now, next week, again, the weapon spoils, focused weapon spoils maybe, but again, we're still a few weeks out from the extra Plundered Umbral Energy and the double plunder. When I get into this level is when I will probably go back to the focused weapons. So next week, what you want to do, for one, you'll probably have to pick one of these back here. So if you feel like, you know, you want your treasure coordinates, you could do that. If you want your extra gear from expedition missions, you could do that. Sure, either one's probably totally fine, personal preference. And then when you get out here, pick one of these that you want. I've got Scurvy in this one, so I can get bonus melee damage and faster melee ability reach in, or I can get class ability recharge and reload speed. Either one's a preference. And then the week after that, I would probably pick the other first mate upgrade, and then come out here, where I get my guaranteed deep sight weapon. The week after that, you know, see what's going on with some of these in the middle. But honestly, at that point, the goal is obviously just to get your Umbral Energy so you can focus more. So that was just one of those things that had a shift from my previous guide. If you haven't seen the guide, it does cover basically everything for Season of the Plunder and, you know, the order of operations once you do things, which is still a beneficial one for a lot of people. But the change just from the focused weapon spoils to the weapon treasure map, I think the treasure map is going to benefit a lot more people early on. And the focused weapon spoils later on when you're trying to narrow in on your last couple of weapon frames to unlock. Then you can really focus in on the weapons. Spending your Umbral Engrams on a random weapon right now, it's cheaper and just much more beneficial for probably everybody right now. So make sure you're doing this. Don't try and do this right now. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like below. If you have any questions or comments, of course, let me know as well. But to everybody out there, if you want to say hello, you can say that in the comments. If you want to find me on Twitch or Twitter, that is Ebontis over there. If you are new to the channel and you enjoy the guides or just my style of videos, I cover Destiny and some other stuff too, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell, helps my videos make it to you. Nice free way to support the channel. If you guys are YouTube members or Patreon subs, thank you for the extra support. You guys are all fantastic though. See you soon.